Thank you, Adonai, for your blessings today. Thank you for everything you're doing in our lives. Thank you for this blessing of your word and the times that we are living in. It is truly amazing. And we just seek your face and want to know you more, know your ways. And let us learn about you tonight. In your name, Yeshua. Amen. All right, we're going to be starting chapter 18 of the book of Revelation.
Vamos a comenzar en el libro de Apocalipsis, capítulo 18.
So basically what we're going to do first is we're going to read the whole chapter.
Lo que queremos hacer es leer el capítulo entero.
And then begin.
Luego comenzaremos.
Revelation chapter 18. We're going to start there. And then we'll break it down. After these things, I saw another angel coming down from heaven. He had great authority. The earth was lit up by his splendor. He carried out in a strong voice, "She has fallen, she has fallen. Babel the Great, she has become a home for demons, a prison for every unclean spirit, a prison for every unclean, hated bird. For all the nations have drunk the wine of God's fury caused by her whoring. Yes, the kings of the earth went whoring with her, and from her unrestrained love of luxury, the world's businessmen have grown rich." Then I heard another voice out of heaven say, "My people, come out of her, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not be infected by her plagues. Her sins are a sticky mass piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes. Render to her as she has rendered to others. Pay her back double for what she has done. Use the cup in which she has brewed to brew her a double-sized drink. Give her as much torment and sorrow as the glory and luxury she gave herself. For in her heart she says, 'I sit a queen. I am not a widow. I will never see sorrow.' Therefore her plagues will come in a single day, death, sorrow, and famine, and she will be burned with fire, because Adonai, God her judge, is mighty. The kings of the earth who went whoring with her and shared in her luxury will sob and wail over her when they see the smoke as she burns. Standing at a distance for fear of her torment, they will say, 'Oh no, the great city, Babel, the mighty city, in a single hour your judgment has come.' The world's businessmen weep and mourn over her, because no one is buying their merchandise anymore. Stock of gold and silver, gems and pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, and scarlet, all rare woods, all ivory goods, all kinds of things made of scented wood, brass, iron, and marble. Cinnamon, cardamom, incense, myrrh, frankincense, wine, oil, flour, grain, cattle, sheep, horses, chariots, and bodies and people's souls. The fruit you lusted for with all your heart have gone. All the luxury and flashiness has been destroyed, never to return. The sellers of these things who got rich from her will stand at a distance for fear of her torment, weeping and mourning, and saying, 'Oh no, the great city used to wear fine linen, purple and scarlet. She glittered with gold, precious stones, and pearls. Such great wealth in a single hour ruined all the shipmasters, passengers, sailors, and everyone making his living from the sea stood at a distance and cried out when they saw the smoke as she burned, what city was like the great city. And they threw dust on their heads as they wept and mourned, saying, 'Oh no, the great city. The abundance of her wealth made all the ship owners rich. In a single hour she is ruined. Rejoice over her, heaven, rejoice, people of God, emissaries and prophets, for in judging her, God has vindicated you. Then a mighty angel picked up a boulder the size of a great millstone and hurled it into the sea, saying, with violence like this will the great city Babel be hurled down, never to be found again. The sound of harpists, musicians, flute players, and trumpeters will never again be heard in you. No wonder, no worker of any trade will ever again be found in you. The sound of a mill will never be heard in you. The light of a lamp will never again share in you. The voice of the bridegroom and the bride will never again be heard in you. For your businessmen were the most powerful on earth. All the nations were deceived by your magic spell. In her was found the blood of prophets and of God's people, indeed, all who have ever been slaughtered on earth. All right, we're going to try to break that down tonight.
Que lo analizaremos.
As you see, this is coming after the other plagues.
Como podemos ver que esto viene después de las otras plagas.
Can you hear him, Tristan?
Hello, testing.
You got to move the microphone up a bit.
Up a bit.
It's a little
Okay.
low.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah,
A
hopefully.
little better?
Yeah, should be good.
Okay.
We've gone now through a third of the world dying,
Ya hemos pasado un tercio del mundo pereciendo
and more people dying after that.
y mucha más gente perece después de eso.
7 seal judgments,
Los juicios de las 7 sellas,
7 shofar judgments,
los 7 trompetas
and then 7 bowl
y el
judgments.
juicio de las 7 copas.
And as we saw in chapter 17, the prostitution that was brought forth in the scripture.
Y como podíamos ver en el capítulo 17, la prostitución y fornicación.
And we are at the very beginning. We're on the doorstep of this all beginning.
Nosotros estamos enfrente de la puerta de esto, del comienzo de todo esto.
Just in the recording of this, a message that I got today from Germany.
En el vi a recording.
No, in the recording of this,
Oh,
just so people know this is recorded if they're hearing this some other time.
okay, si lo están escuchando, este estudio está siendo grabado.
I got a Skype message from somebody in Germany,
Recibí un mensaje de Skype de alguien en Alemania
and there was a messianic pastor there
y se trataba sobre un pastor mesiánico
who
ahí,
was standing against an anti-Semitic film that was going to be played in Nuremberg.
que estaba parado firmemente, estaba en contra de una película que se iba a enseñar sobre el antisemitismo en Nuremberg, Alemania.
This is one of the biggest strongholds of Hitler.
Y aquí esta fue una de las ciudades más fuertes que estaban firmes con Hitler.
And the pastor stood, tell them not to show this film.
Y el pastor se paró a decirles que no enseñaran esta película.
A couple of days later, he wasn't arrested,
Unos cuantos días después no fue arrestado,
but the police came to his home and he disappeared.
pero la policía llegó al frente de su puerta y desapareció el hombre.
And nobody knows where he is.
Y nadie sabe dónde se encuentra.
He didn't run away from the police took him somewhere.
Él no huyó de la policía se lo llevó.
When you see these signs, people,
Cuando miren estas señales
and the anti-Semitism that's going on in the world,
y el antisemitismo que está pasando sobre todo el mundo,
just know that choose this day whom you're going to serve.
escojan este día a quién van a servir.
Right now, get it in your head where you're going to stand and what you're going to stand for.
Ahorita tengan en mente con quién van a estar firmes y para qué en qué es lo que se van a estar en esa firmeza.
And please don't be misguided
Y por favor no sean engañados
with that very poor Christian understanding.
con ese entendimiento del cristiano,
God knows what's in my heart.
de lo que dice el cristiano, que Dios sabe lo que tengo en mi corazón.
Yeshua said, if you don't proclaim me before man, I will not proclaim you before my Father in heaven.
Yeshua dijo, si ustedes no me proclaman a mí, yo no te proclamaré frente a mi Padre.
And something to help you make a proper decision tonight
Y algo para hacer una decisión apropiada
is Revelation chapter 18.
es este capítulo en particular, el capítulo 18 en Apocalipsis.
So let's look now at verse 1.
Así que vamos a ver la primera escritura,
Revelation 18, verse 1.
versículo 1.
After these things I saw another angel coming down from heaven. He had great authority. The earth was lit up by his splendor. So it's a great angel. It's an angel with great authority.
Así que podemos ver que es un ángel con gran poder.
And this is after the bowl judgments, the trumpet judgments, and the seal judgments.
Y esto es después de esas 7 sellas, los trompetas y las copas, las 7 copas.
Okay? So get this through your mind as we discover who this is.
Así que tengan en mente para descubrir quién es.
Of let's see here. Is the sound okay there on Skype land? Is everybody okay with the volume?
¿Todos pueden escuchar bien?
Give a thumbs up, or just say something, you guys out there. If not, we're just going to keep
I
rolling.
have good sound.
Say again.
I have good sound.
All right. Thank you. So we're gonna see the chastisement of the people of this time.
Así que podemos ver el castigo de la gente en el mundo durante este tiempo,
If you don't stand for Messiah.
si no están firmes con el Mesías.
All right. So let's see who this angel that has great authority is.
Así que vamos a ver quién es este ángel con gran autoridad aquí.
Let's go to slide number 3 and turn to Daniel 7.
Vamos a la página 3 y vamos con Daniel,
Siete.
el libro del Daniel, del profeta Daniel, capítulo 7, versículo 11 al 14.
Daniel 7, verse 11 through 14. We're looking for somebody who has great authority.
Estamos viendo a alguien que tiene gran autoridad.
Okay, Daniel 7, verse 11 through 14.
Daniel 7, versículo 11 al 14.
I kept watching, then because of the arrogant words which the horn was speaking, I watched as the animal was killed. Its body was destroyed, and it was given over to be burned up completely. As for the other animals, their rulership was taken away, but their lives were prolonged for a time and a season. I kept watching the night visions when I saw, coming with the clouds of heaven, someone like the Son of Man. He approached the Ancient One and was led into his presence. To him was given rulership, glory, and a kingdom, so that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His rulership is an eternal rulership. This will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will never be destroyed.
Amen.
So here you see that it was like someone, he approached the Ancient One.
Así que podemos ver que él se acercaba al anciano de días.
So there seems to be somebody who's above the Ancient One.
Así que
Somebody who's coming to the Ancient One.
aquí parece ser que es alguien que viene hacia el anciano de días,
Who is then given a kingdom,
que se le ha dado un reino.
rulership,
El reino,
okay, and
dominio,
okay, and it will never pass away
y nunca será destruido.
or be destroyed.
Nunca será destruido o pasará.
So there's somebody who's going to be ruling all the goyim, the people, and all the peoples and the nations.
Así que hay alguien que va a reinar sobre todas las naciones.
So the people you could look at as Israel,
Así que la gente podemos ver que that it could be or it is,
that it is,
que es el pueblo de Israel,
and the nations, the goyim.
y las naciones que son los goyim.
So this one that's coming to the Ancient One
Así que aquel que viene hacia el anciano
is being given all these people to rule over.
se le ha dado ese dominio para reinar sobre toda esa gente.
who, as we are going to see, there's a key word here, great authority.
Que vemos aquí esa palabra, gran autoridad o gran poder.
So in Revelation 18, we see somebody who has great authority, right?
Así que en Apocalipsis 18 podemos ver que es alguien que tiene gran autoridad.
If you've been given rulership over everybody on the planet, would that be great authority?
Si se te ha dado dominio sobre todo el planeta, ¿acaso esto sería gran poder, gran autoridad?
And it doesn't say he was elected.
Y no dice que fue electado,
And it says he's a ruler.
dice que él es un rey
And then it says his kingdom.
y dice su reino.
Okay? So he's not going to have to answer to the House or the Senate committees.
Así que él no va a tener que responder a un comité
So
o a un senado.
you have this one. So who's that going to be?
Así que ¿quién sería esto?
Well, we who know Yeshua are going to
No.
say that's him.
Nosotros que sabemos que es Yeshua, vamos a decir que es
Well,
él.
let's prove that a little further.
Bueno,
Who's
vamos-
going to be doing some smacking around in chapter 18?
Bueno, vamos a comprobar esto. ¿Quién va a estar dando palizas aquí
Well,
en el capítulo 18?
That point is good to make
I'm sorry. say
about
it
smacking around.
again. Oh, ok, sobre esto de la paliza.
You know,
Sí.
giving that old 1-2 punch there.
Sí, alguien que va a dar paliza a la gente aquí, la
Be-
desobediente.
Because many Christians say Jesus is all love.
Porque muchos cristianos dicen que Jesús
We just
es
gotta love him.
amor y tenemos que amar.
So in chapter 18 we saw, now we're going to prove that this is Yeshua the Messiah
Así que capítulo 18 vamos a comprobar que este es Yeshua el Mesías.
by going to slide number 4 and turning to Isaiah 9.
Para continuar, vamos a la página 4 y vamos al libro de Isaías capítulo 9, versículo
6, 7.
6 al 7.
Let's go to Isaiah 9, Yeshayahu 9, verse 6 and 7. See if you're here for Bible study. Free popcorn. No. Isaiah 9, verse 6 and 7. For a child is born to us, a son is given to us. Dominion will rest on his shoulders, and he will be given the name Peleoats, El Gabor, Avi Ad, Sar Shalom, which in English means Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Father of Eternity, Prince of Peace, in order to extend the dominion and perpetuate the peace of the throne of the kingdom of David, to secure it and to sustain it through justice and righteousness, henceforth and forever. The zeal of Adonai Sebaot will accomplish this. So you see, this is a prophecy about the Mashiach.
Así que podemos ver que esta es una profecía sobre el Mesías.
He's the one with great authority
Él es el que tiene gran autoridad
because he's the mighty God
porque Él es el Dios poderoso
and he's the Father of eternity.
y es el Padre de toda la eternidad.
So when we move on to the rest of chapter 18,
Así que cuando continuemos con el resto del capítulo 18
and this angel's doing these things,
y este ángel está haciendo todas estas cosas,
let's wrap our mind around who's doing it.
vamos a tener en mente quién está haciendo
The
esto.
Messiah is so nice.
Oh, el Mesías es tan
Well,
bueno.
he has a more stern side as when he's being God.
Vamos a ver que él tiene un carácter más fuerte y más firme cuando es Dios.
Okay, now let's go on to slide number 5, and then we'll turn to Matthew 28.
Vamos a Mateo 28 en la página 5, capítulo 28, versículo 18.
Okay, Matthew 28, verse 18, because Yeshua speaks about him having great authority.
El Evangelio de Mateo 28, versículo 18.
Matthew 28, verse 18. Matthew 28, verse 18. Yeshua came and talked with them. He said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. So, this angel with great authority,
Así que este ángel con gran autoridad,
we now prove without a shadow of a doubt that that is Yeshua.
podemos comprobar sin duda que es Yeshua,
Because the angel in Revelation 18:1 said he had great authority.
porque el ángel en capítulo 18, versículo 1 en Apocalipsis dice, tiene gran poder,
And
gran
then
autoridad.
Yeshua is saying, I'm the one who's got all the authority.
Y Yeshua está diciendo que yo tengo toda esa autoridad.
So, the one that's coming down that splendor,
Así que ese ángel que viene con toda la gloria,
who's going to be doing some real intense stuff,
que va a hacer cosas muy intensas,
you better end up on the right side of his hand.
on the right side of the fence.
On the right side of the fence.
Vale más que estén en el lado bueno del Mesías, porque
All right, let's go back to Revelation 18.
and
Go
this
ahead.
is even after the judgments also. This is after all the
Yeah,
judgments.
this is
and all
after
the-
seven seals, 7 shofars, and 7 bowls.
after all the judgments, he's gonna really, lay down the law here after everything has happened. So there's gonna be a great, a great dissolvement of the way of doing things as we know it.
Well,
I mean, it's gonna be,
what
something
I think- what I-
completely wiped out.
what I think we've seen in this study
Bueno, lo que yo pienso que hemos visto en este estudio
has been either a greater love for the people who follow God,
ha sido un más grande amor para aquellos que siguen al Señor,
or a greater hatred for those who don't,
o un gran odio a aquellos que no aman al Señor,
and a vicious hatred.
y un odio fuerte.
And it says that the saints are overrun for a time, times, and a half a time.
Y dice que los santos han sido como derrotados por tiempo más tiempo y medio.
And when we're hearing people being abducted in a democratic nation of Germany,
Y cuando estamos oyendo de noticias de hombres siendo secuestrados en una democracia como Alemania
for preaching God,
por pararse firme con el Señor,
when the Boy Scouts
cuando los Boy Scouts
today, their national headquarters is not going to back keeping homosexuals out.
ahora las oficinas de los Boy Scouts no están parados firmes en de eso de los homosexuales que está pasando hoy día.
You see Satan being emboldened.
Estamos viendo que Satanás se le está dando como como un gran poder, like power, like
Yes,
it's
like
being given
I'd
to him.
use a
Es-
Spanish term that isn't proper. He's got very big.
Oh, okay. Como que se le está dando más poder a Satanás. Aparenta eso.
Okay. So that what we're seeing today
Así que lo que estamos viendo hoy día
leads up to the beginning of the book of Revelation.
es el comienzo de este capítulo, no de este capítulo, pero de este libro en particular.
And as we've studied throughout the beginning of the book of Revelation,
Y como hemos estudiado aquí en el libro de Apocalipsis,
we see Jehovah does try to bring us back with some
Pod-
minor spankings.
podemos ver que Jehová nos está llamando la atención con pequeños castigos aquí.
But instead of people going towards God,
Pero en vez de que la gente se arrepiente y regrese a Dios,
like today,
como ahora,
many are just, they don't want to hear nothing about the Lord.
muchos no quieren oír del Señor.
But that's also what I see as the body. They're not examples.
Pero eso es también que el cuerpo del Mesías no está poniendo muy buen ejemplo.
Most are hypocrites.
Muchos son hipócritas.
So when they're trying to witness, their witness is awful.
Así que cuando ellos quieren testificar sobre la grandeza de nuestro Señor, su testimonio no es válido.
So now we get to Revelation 18.
Así que llegamos a este capítulo
After all this
18
has happened,
y desde que todo esto pasa,
people still don't want to go towards God.
podemos ver que el pueblo, la gente no quiere ir hacia el Señor.
And the Lord lets them have some fun for a while, the Satanists.
Y el Señor deja que estos seculares y satánicos tengan
They get rich,
tengan su divertimiento, los deja que se enriquecen.
and now the hammer is going to come down on them.
Ahora el martillo va a caer fuerte sobre ellos.
Okay? 18 verse 2.
Capítulo,
Revelation 18 verse 2.
capítulo 18, versículo 2.
He cried out in a strong voice, "She has fallen. She has fallen. Babel the Great. She has become a home for demons, a prison for every unclean spirit, a prison for every unclean, hated bird." Now, that hated bird thing got, it's like, what is a hated bird?
Ahora,
I
esa,
hate pigeons. They always bomb my car.
esa ave inmunda y aborrecible, dije, ¿de qué se trata esto? Hay muchos aves de la ciudad que pues hacen su, su cosa arriba de mi carro.
So they're hated to me, but I don't think that really is what we're talking about here in
Así que
Revelation.
yo odio lo que hacen a mi carro, pero no creo que se trate de esto aquí en Apocalipsis.
So the first thing we look at
Así que lo primero que vamos a ver
is a hatful bird.
es la ave aborrecible.
The hatful bird. I forgot the hatful bird.
You see, that just shows that one letter can completely change the meaning of a word.
Yes, and make it
Which is what I
fun.
was talking about with somebody.
Okay. The word in Greek is mizio,
La palabra en griega es misio
and it means to hate,
y significa odiar,
pursue with hatred,
perseguir con odio,
detest,
detestar
or to be hated or detested.
o ser odiado o detestado.
So, what kind of birds would be detested, Jan, in Scripture?
Así que ¿qué aves serían detestables?
Pigeons. No, they're actually kosher.
I was going to say, those are kosher.
They bomb your car,
You
though.
can get your revenge. They're kosher.
I'm gonna eat you now. If you bomb my car, I'm eating you.
But I remember, I don't remember the specific bird, but I know there were several listed that we were told not to eat. Mostly the ones with the hooked beaks that tear into dead things and stuff. Like, I know the eagle is one, the kite, I don't remember all of them.
Owl.
Owl, yes, the owl.
Yes, one.
Yeshua speaks about, and that's one question that I've always had, why he said this. It's in Matthew 24 where he says, the vultures are where the dead bodies are,
Oh,
or
there you
the
go.
vultures.
Smorgasbord.
Okay.
It's like going to a Chinese restaurant, you get buffets, $7.95.
Es como, mi pregunta fue sobre donde está escrito en Mateo 24 sobre Yeshua cuando habla de las aves, donde están los cadáveres, se encuentran los cadáveres, y el rabino dice que es como un buffet de los chinos, por decir, donde hay mucha comida.
So would that be like somewhat of a reference to that when it says in Revelation that the bodies would be piled up and the birds were going to have their fill?
Well,
Those would
we
be
got to
ordered
find
by
we have to find the reference.
Okay. Tenemos que hallar la escritura para poder respaldar.
Because that one doesn't specifically
Because
say
one,
hated birds.
once we find the reference,
Porque cuando hallamos esa referencia,
if that reference of hated birds
si esa referencia de aves odiadas
has other information in it,
tiene otra información en ello,
then we get more information where Babel is.
entonces podemos obtener más información dónde se encuentra Babilonia.
Because it's a clue that you look for.
Porque es una pista que nos puede dirigir a donde lo que estamos buscando.
Because many people think it's Rome.
Porque muchos piensan que es Roma,
But is it?
pero sería
Well, let's
Roma.
go see where this hatted bird is found.
Vamos a ver dónde encontramos esta ave aborrecida.
Okay, so let's go to slide 7
Así que vamos a la página 7
and turn to Isaiah 13.
y vamos a Isaías 13.
Isaiah 13, verse 6 through 22.
Isaías 13,
Verse 6 through 22.
versículos 6 al 22.
And then we'll go to a map.
Y luego,
this.
y luego vamos a ver un mapa.
Isaiah 13, Yeshayahu 13, verse 6 through 22. And the whole thing needs to be read so that you can get a picture. Because this picture that's going to be drawn
Este cuadro que va a ser pintado aquí
ties together with the Revelation 18 scripture.
interlaza con esa escritura en particular en el 18.
How for the
Apocalipsis.
day of Adonai is at hand, destruction coming from Shaddai. This is why every arm will hang limp and everyone's courage melt away. They will be gripping by panic, seized with pain and agony, writhing like a woman in labor, looking aghast at each other's faces aflame. Here comes the day of Adonai, full of cruelty, rage, and hot fury, to desolate the earth and destroy the sinners in it. For the stars and the constellations in the sky will no longer give their light. The sun will be dark when it rises, and the moon will no longer shine. It will punish the world for its evil and the wicked for their iniquity. I will end the arrogance of the proud, the humble, the insolent, and tyrants. I will make humans rarer than gold, scarcer than Ophir's pure gold. This is why I will make the heavens tremble, and the earth will be shaken from its place at the wrath of Adonai Sivaot. On the day of his fierce anger, then like a hunted gazelle, like sheep with no one to gather them, everyone will head back to his own people. Everyone will flee to his own land. Everyone will be pierced through. Anyone caught will fall by the sword. Their babies dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses looted, their wives raped. I will stir up against them the Medes, who cannot be tempted by silver or bought off with gold. Their bows will tear young men to pieces. They will have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eye will not spare children. Thus Babel, the jewel of kingdoms, the pride and glory of Kasdim, will be like Sodom and Amorah when overthrown by God. It will never again be inhabited, never lived in through all their generations. Arabs will not pitch tents there, nor shepherds bring their flocks. But wildcats will lie there. Their houses will be full of owls, ostriches will live there, and the wild goats dance there. Jackals will howl, and their palaces of wild dogs, and their temples of delight. Its time is close at hand, its day will not last long. If you look at verse 21,
Si pueden ver el versículo 21,
it talks about owls and ostriches,
habla de hurones y de avestruces,
both of which are hated birds,
que son aves odiadas,
because owls eat rats and all those little creepy things on the ground.
porque los hurones comen
Like rats and mice and
ratones
rodents.
Y cosas así, animales odiados,
Okay.
pienso yo.
But the key here
Ok, pero la clave aquí
of
es
who this is
de quién es este.
is the Medes
Son los medios,
that you
los
see in
medios,
verse 7.
que vemos aquí en el,
17.
en el versículo 17.
The
Los
Medes.
medos.
The Lord is going to stir up the Medes.
que el Señor va a despertar o va a levantar a los medos.
But it talks about the Lord doing total destruction to the
Pero,
people.
pero el Señor habla de destrucción sobre el pueblo,
That people will be so scarce.
que la gente va a desaparecer.
And the Medes, these particular Medes, they don't care about people.
Y estos medos no les importa la gente,
They don't care about babies. They dash them against rocks.
no les importa los bebés, los parten sobre
Um,
las rocas.
they're heterosexual because they're raping women.
Son heterosexuales porque ellos están violando a las mujeres.
So let's move on to slide 8.
Así que vamos a continuar en la página 8 aquí.
And let's take a look at a map
Y vamos a ver aquí un mapa
of who the Medes Empire was.
de dónde son los medos.
Okay, the map there shows you in the red the outline of the Mede Empire.
Ahí como pueden ver donde está alineado en rojo es el imperio de los medos,
Which encompasses all of Turkey,
que es toda Turquía,
going out towards Italy and Greece,
llegando hasta Italia y Grecia,
but it doesn't go all the way out to there.
pero no llega hacia allí.
Stops at the Mediterranean there.
Para en el Mediterráneo.
It's not Saudi Arabia. Nobody really takes over Saudi Arabia ever.
No es el imperio de Arabia Saudita. Nadie,
Okay.
nadie conquista esa tierra.
This encompasses Jordan, Iran, Iraq,
Esto llega hacia Irán moderno y Irak,
Libya, Egypt.
Libia, Egipto.
So you see something, these people are in the news an awful lot lately.
Así que podemos ver que todas estas gentes están en las noticias, parece ser regularmente.
But there's an interesting part to this because they've been in the news a little bit lately.
Pero hay algo muy interesante porque ellos han estado en las noticias últimamente.
The top part, the part there by the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea.
La parte aquí donde se encuentra el mar Caspian y
Ajá.
which one?
Caspian Sea and the Black Sea.
Y el mar Negro,
Like Prince Caspian.
como Prince Caspian,
Okay.
la película.
It's a very interesting look.
Es una pista muy interesante.
And then here, over here, you got Turkey,
Y aquí podemos ver que tenemos a Turquía,
this whole area here.
toda esa área ahí.
And this is also part of the Roman Empire
Y esto es parte también del Imperio Romano,
because there was the east and west part of the Roman Empire where the middle was Constantinople, which is in Turkey.
y podemos ver que había parte del este y el occidente, porque, I'm sorry, era parte de, it was part of,
The Roman Empire, it's split at Constantinople, which is in Turkey.
se paraba ahí el reino de Roma, en donde está Constantinople.
But recently in Turkey,
Pero recientemente en Turquía
they've been having a lot of problems with a certain group of people,
han tenido problemas con cierta gente,
which you see over here in the Iranian plateau.
que podemos ver aquí donde está escrito Iranian Plateau en lo rojo, en
The
el rojo.
Kurds.
El pueblo llamado los Kurds.
The Turkey's been having a lot of problems with the Kurds,
Turquía ha tenido muchos problemas con esa gente,
but they still speak, from what I gather, the Persian language.
pero ellos hablan todavía el lenguaje persio
And nobody's ever been really to conquer them and to split them apart.
y nadie ha podido conquistar a ese pueblo y poder esparcirlos.
And they've been raising up lately in the news in Turkey.
Y ellos se han levantado en Turquía últimamente.
So it's interesting how this is all playing out. The
Así,
puzzle
así,
pieces coming
así
together.
que es muy, muy interesante como todo esto se está, como esto está en la noticia últimamente.
Okay, so that's why we do the news here a lot, so you can
Por-
see how it plays in the scripture.
Por eso es que hacemos las noticias aquí muy regularmente para ver cómo esto interlaza con las escrituras que están aquí.
All right, let's move on to slide number 9 and go back to Revelation 18, verse 3.
Vamos a ver a la página 9, Apocalipsis 18, versículo 3.
Okay, Revelation 18, verse 3. So this, it's a possibility that that's what the Lord is talking about there, the
Que-
Medes and the Medes there.
Que quizá sería esto que lo que está hablando aquí Dios de los medos.
If you go with the hated birds. Okay,
Si estamos viendo a esas aves aborrecidas.
Revelation 18, verse 3. For all the nations have drunk the wine of God's fury caused by her whoring. Yes, the kings of the earth went whoring with her, and from her unrestrained love of luxury, the world's businessmen have grown rich. This verse reads extremely poor in this CJB.
Esta escritura en particular es una traducción no muy buena en
It doesn't,
la Biblia
it doesn't
completa
really
judía.
say what it needs to say.
No dice lo que tiene lo que estaba escrito originalmente.
What it says is, for all the nations have drunk the wine of passion.
Lo que está escrito, can you please say that again, Rabbi?
For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the passion of her immorality.
En la Reina Valera es porque todas las naciones han bebido del vino del furor de su fornicación.
Okay. And the kings of the earth have committed acts of immorality with her.
Y los reyes de la tierra han fornicado con ella.
And the merchants of the earth have become rich by the wealth of her sensuality.
Y los mercaderes de la tierra se han enriquecido de la potencia de sus deleites.
So that reads a lot different than what the CJB said.
Así que esto lee un poco diferente a lo que está escrito en la completa Biblia judía.
But it goes along with chapter 17.
Pero esto va muy bien, mano en mano, con esa escritura en capítulo what is it?
17.
17.
That what is happening in the world at this point
De lo que está pasando aquí en el mundo, en este punto,
is money,
se trata de dinero,
fornication,
fornicación
and immorality.
y la inmundez.
Okay? So that needs to be understood
Así que esto se necesita que entender,
because these are the three things that Yeshua speaks against.
porque estas son las tres cosas que Yeshua habla en contra
And that the Torah speaks against.
y el Torah habla en contra de eso.
You know, that if you get divorced, there's a lot of problems to pay for that.
Que si te divorcias, hay muchos problemas que salen de esto.
Or if you're
muchos.
caught in adultery.
O si eres involucrado en adulterio,
Biblically, you get stoned.
bíblicamente te apedrean.
So this unrestrained love of luxury doesn't work in verse 3.
Así que este amor a la a luxury,
Of money.
yeah,
Use of money.
okay, este amor de dinero.
Okay.
Ve-
So-
Podemos ver aquí lo que está escrito.
Yeah. So you have to have this better understanding
Así que tenemos que tener un mejor entendimiento de esto,
with better wording to understand why Yeshua is going to chastise these
con mejores palabras traducidas y por qué Yeshua va a castigar el mundo.
Okay? And to get that understanding, let's turn to Jeremiah 51.
Para obtener mejor entendimiento, vamos al libro de Jeremías, capítulo 51, versículo 33 al 37.
Jeremiah 51, verse 33 to 37. This is slide 10.
Okay, página 10.
Lujos, Juan. Lujos.
Lujos. Ok, el amor al lujo, pero es más el amor al dinero, que fue lo que explicó el rabino. Thank you. Who was that, Julio?
No,
No.
Eduardo.
Eduardo, okay. Thank you, Eduardo.
Okay, so to understand this, this luxury
Para entender eso, ese lujo
and this fornication,
y la fornicación,
let's take a look at Jeremiah 51 verses 33 to 37.
vamos a ver a Jeremías 51, versículo 33 al 37.
For here's what Adonai Sabaoth, the God of Israel, says: The daughter of Babel is like a threshing floor at treading time. Just a little while longer, and the time for Ellen, could you mute? Thank you. Ellen? Okay. The daughter of Babel is like a threshing floor at treading time, just a little while longer, and the time for the harvesting her will come. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babel, has devoured me, crushing me. He left me like an empty pot, like a monster. He swallowed me whole. With my delicacies he stuffed his belly. Then he rinsed me out. But one who lives in Zion will say, May my torn flesh be avenged on Babel, and Jerusalem will say, May my blood be avenged on the Kasdim. Therefore, here's what Adonai says: I will plead your cause. I will take vengeance on you, for you. I will dry up her river and make her water sources dry. Babel will become a heap of ruins, place for jackals to live, an object of horror and hissing with no one living there. Okay, so there's in verse 37.
Así que en versículo 37
You need to know that for a little bit later when we study some of the other verses.
tenemos que entender esto, tener este entendimiento para los versículos que están por venir en Apocalipsis.
But in verse 34,
Pero en versículo 34
the delicacies.
habla aquí sobre las delicadezas,
You know, it's sort of like we were talking about a while ago with the Hershey Kisses.
como estábamos hablando de los dulces Hershey's,
Okay, you eat one,
que comes uno
and then you're talking on the phone,
y estás hablando en el teléfono
and after a little while, all of a sudden, there's a pile of tinfoil in front of
y
you.
luego miras que hay muchos dulces que te
Okay,
comiste.
so you have these delicacies.
Así que tenemos esas delicadezas.
Okay, and that's what the Lord is talking about, these things that suck you in.
Y esto es lo que habla el Señor, de estas cosas que se apoderan de ti.
And as you're looking at the verse, Revelation 18:3,
Y como podemos ver, capítulo
you know,
18,
it
versículo
has the
3,
wine,
habla del vino,
passion for immorality, you know, this basically fornication,
fornicación,
and then wealth of her sensuality.
y enriqueciéndose en lujos
You know,
y placeres.
There's been many a story of women doing prostitution to put themselves through college.
Ha habido muchas historias de mujeres que han entrado a la prostitución para poder pagar su colegio.
You know, there's a lot of places that are starting to legalize prostitution.
Y hay muchos lugares que están legalizando la prostitución, la están haciendo como ley.
Okay, so this delicacies that's being spoken of in Jeremiah
Así que estas delicadezas que habla aquí sobre el profeta Jeremías
is like this monster. It's saying, swallowing you whole,
es como un monstruo devorándote,
because these things are like a drug.
porque estas cosas son como una droga.
The more you have, the more you're going to want.
Lo más que tienes, más vas a querer.
And then the other part, like I said in verse 37, it ties together with the other verses we're going to look at.
Y el versículo 37 va a interlazar con otras escrituras aquí.
So what we're seeing in the world today
Así que lo que estamos viendo en el mundo hoy día
is, you know, You talk to somebody who's in their 80s or 90s,
Si hablas con alguien que ya tiene la edad de 80 o 90,
and they're
pues,
looking at our society today,
y ellos están viendo la sociedad hoy día,
you know, they get embarrassed.
ellos van a estar como avergonzados.
But you talk to somebody who's like 10 or 11 or 12,
Y si en comparación hablas con alguien de 10, 11 o 12 años,
this is all normal to them.
esto es normal, completamente
You know, the
normal
killing
para
in the
ellos.
video games,
La matanza que vemos en los juegos de los videos,
this baby's crying, the sexuality in the video games,
la sexualidad que se encuentra en esos juegos de video,
the sexuality in the movies,
la sexualidad en las películas,
not just allusions to sexuality.
no como,
Illusion.
como ilusión
You know, like you'd hear something behind a door,
o oye, escuchas algo detrás de una puerta.
but in today's movie you're seeing what's going on behind the door and you're right there with it.
Pero hoy día puedes ver lo que está pasando detrás de la puerta y estás ahí viéndolo.
So Satan has moved the boundary stone.
Así que Satanás ha movido esa piedra
And now we're coming to this part in Revelation
y
18
ahora estamos viendo esta profecía aquí en capítulo 18,
that now the things are so far, you know, it's over the top.
que las cosas ya han llegado a un punto que ya está sobrepasó la
So now
montaña.
the Lord's, you know, this great angel is going to say, okay, I'm going to deal with you now.
Así que este ángel está diciendo aquí, ok, yo voy a mandar ese castigo ahora.
All right, let's go to slide number 11 and turn to Proverbs 23.
Ahora vamos a la página 11 y vamos a Proverbios 23, versículo 1 al 6.
Proverbs 23, verse 1 through 6. Proverbs 23, verse 1 through 6. When you sit down to dine with a ruler, think carefully about who is before you. If you have a big appetite, put a knife to your throat. Don't be greedy for his delicacies, for they are deceptive food. Don't exhaust yourself in pursuit of wealth. Be smart enough to desist. If you make your eyes rush at it, it's no longer there. For wealth will surely grow wings like an eagle flying off to the sky. Don't eat the food of a stingy man. Don't be greedy for his delicacies. So you see, in this proverb,
Así que podemos ver en este proverbio,
don't get sucked into his madness. Don't
no vayas,
covet his stuff.
no codicies sus lujos, sus riquezas.
And that's what, you know, one of the top 10 commandments is.
Y eso es uno de los 10 mandamientos, no codicies.
But in the end here in Revelation,
Pero al final aquí en Apocalipsis
there is no loss.
no hay pérdida aquí.
You know, people do not want to know about God's laws in any way at all.
Aquí la gente no quiere saber nada de las maneras de Dios, nada de sus leyes.
But even in this, the Lord is giving us a warning.
Pero hasta aquí nos da un advertimiento el Señor.
Don't go where those people are.
No vayas a donde están esa gente.
Don't want what they want.
No quieras lo que ellos quieren.
Don't take part of what they're doing.
No tomes parte de lo que ellos están haciendo.
Because now the one with all authority is going to come and he's going to,
Porque aquel que tiene toda la autoridad, él es el que va a dar esos castigos ahora.
now let's take a look at what he's going to start doing.
Ahora vamos a ver lo que él va a hacer.
Revelation 18, verse 4 and 5, slide 12.
Apocalipsis capítulo 18, versículo 4 y 5. Página 12, por favor.
Revelation 18, verse 4 and 5. Then I heard another voice out of heaven say, "My people, come out of her, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not be infected by her plagues. For her sins are a sticky mass piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes." Okay? So here The Lord is talking about get out of there.
El Señor está hablando aquí, sal de ahí.
Don't share what she's having.
No tengas nada que ver con lo que ella está tomando parte.
Because it's a very rare person that's not going to partake of the popcorn.
Porque es muy raro, por decir, a alguien que va a compartir ese popcorn, las palomitas de maíz.
That sin is just going to keep calling you,
Ese pecado te va a llamar,
especially when it's fornication.
especialmente cuando es
And
fornicación.
what we're seeing in the world
Y
today
lo que estamos viendo en el mundo hoy día
isn't just men anymore.
no es solamente los hombres.
Women are doing the same type of fornication.
Las mujeres también están haciendo esa fornicación.
You know, just to have one night stands.
Como eso de tener relaciones solamente una noche.
Okay, so the Lord is saying here, get away from that delicacies,
Así que-
those little Hershey kisses.
Así que el Señor nos está llamando fuera de esas delicadezas.
Don't be infected by what she has.
No seas infectado con las cosas que ella tiene.
And that's even more so of infection.
Y esto es más sobre las
We
infecciones.
have a lot of sexually transmitted diseases now that have no cures.
Podemos ver que hay muchas transmisiones sexuales donde no hay no hay como manera de curar
Okay.
esas infecciones.
Now you take that
Ahora tomas esto
and look at verse 5.
y ahora vemos el versículo 5.
That her sins are a sticky mass piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes. So, what's something that's sticky and gooey?
Así que ¿qué es pegajoso,
Okay, that can be piled one thing on another
que se puede poner arriba uno al otro
by a group of people
por un pueblo
that's building this up to heaven?
que está elevando esto hacia el cielo?
What might that be?
Vamos a ver, ¿qué sería esto?
And where was it located?
¿Y dónde estaba localizado esto?
Right in the area of the Medes.
¿Dónde está el área eso de los medos?
Is anybody getting this so far out there?
Ahora todos están
You
teniendo
getting
una
it,
pista.
Julio? Are you getting it?
¿Estás recibiendo esta pista?
Where do you think it is, Julio?
¿Dónde crees que va a ser esto?
What scripture do you think? What scripture do you think we're going to go to?
Génesis.
Ok.
Okay.
¿El gordo? ¿Cuál gordo?
¿Qué capítulo, qué versículo, qué libro?
¿A dónde sigue? Ya le digo.
Ok.
Huh?
Génesis 11:1.
No, Julio. All right. We shall go to the next slide,
Vamos a la próxima página aquí.
and we will turn to Genesis 11, slide number 13.
Versículo, página 13. Génesis capítulo 11, versículo 1 al 7.
Yeah, you gotta mute your sound there, son. Genesis 11, verse
Genesis.
1 through 7.
Génesis 11, versículo 1 al 7.
The whole earth used the same language, the same words. It came about that as they traveled from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and lived there. They said to one another, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them in fire." They had bricks for building stone and clay for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let's build ourselves a city with a tower that its top reaches up into heaven, that we can make a name for ourselves and not be scattered all over the earth." And I came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. And I said, "Look, the people are united. They all have a single language, and see what they're starting to do. At this rate, nothing they set out to accomplish will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down and confuse their languages so that they won't understand each other's speech." So they are piling a sticky mass,
Así que podemos ver que ellos están poniendo ladrillos aquí,
but they were baking it.
pero ellos los estaban poniendo en el horno.
So they were able to build the bricks.
Así que ellos estaban comenzando a hacer esos ladrillos.
And where is the Tower of Babel located?
¿Y dónde es donde se encuentra la Torre de Babel?
Right where the Medes area was.
Ahí en el área de los medos.
Okay? And they're building it up to heaven because they want to become God.
Y ellos quieren subir, levantar este edificio hacia el cielo.
So, like it said in verse in Revelation 18,
Y como vemos en Apocalipsis 18,
verse 5,
versículo 5,
God has remembered her crimes.
Dios se ha acordado de sus maldades.
Okay? So here in Genesis 11,
Así que vemos aquí en Génesis 11,
God came down to investigate.
Dios vino a investigar.
Okay, so they're building this tower.
Así que ellos están subiendo están levantando esta torre
Building it up to heaven.
y se está levantando hacia los cielos.
Okay. Okay, Tristan.
It's true.
Tristan's talking about brownies.
Dark sticky mess that you can make and stack.
Next slide.
Okay,
Slide 14.
próxima página 14.
Let's look a little further into this thing reaching the heavens.
Vamos a ver sobre este edificio que va hacia los cielos.
So let's turn to Jeremiah 51, verse 7 through 9.
Así que vamos a Jeremías 51, versículos 7 al 8.
No,
al
9. Jeremiah 51, verse 7 through 9. Jeremiah 51, verse 7 through 9. Babel was gold cup in the hands of Adonai, made the whole earth drunk. The nations drank her wine. This is why the nations have lost their senses. Babel has suddenly fallen. She is broken. Wail for her. Bring healing ointment for her wounds. Perhaps she can be healed. We tried to heal Babel, but she cannot be healed. So leave her alone, and each of us will return to his own country. For the judgment against her rises to the skies and reaches even the clouds. Okay? So that's a pretty high judgment.
Así que este es un juicio muy fuerte.
You see how this Jeremiah 51 plays together with all of Revelation 18.
Podemos ver que esta profecía en Jeremías 51 va mano en mano con esa profecía en Apocalipsis.
In verse 7, it's talking about drinking of the wine.
Versículo 7 va sobre tomar ese vino.
In verse 8, it's talking about suddenly being fallen.
Versículo 8 habla sobre el que ha caído Babilonia.
And this is all talking about Babel,
Y esto está hablando sobre Babilonia,
which is to the east of where Rome is.
que es al este donde está Roma.
So this puts some doubt in your mind if you think this might be the Catholic Church.
Así que esto pone en duda si tú crees que es la iglesia
Because
católica.
where is their capital?
Porque ¿dónde es donde está su capital?
In Rome,
En Roma,
not in Constantinople.
no en Constantinopla.
So puts a little bit more of the players on the field.
Así que podemos ver que hay más piezas a este rompecabezas. Now, Rabbi, in Babel they wanted to bring unification. They wanted to bring unification of the language. They themselves wanted to be rulers. They wanted to be kings. They themselves. So Jehovah came and he investigated this also. There was also that part in Scripture over the tree of life, where Adam and Eve fell, and Jehovah said, "Let's get them out of here before they eat of the tree of life," and they live forever like this. So here he's trying to protect humanity, and And here he's saying, you can't, you can't do this. This is not right. I mean, there is only one king, and that's me. Like, I
But
mean,
well-
who else is like God? So here we see that humanity is trying to become more unified, and seemingly they want to do the right thing, but they want to do the right thing as what's right in their sight, what's right in their eyes, and they want for the things that they desire to be called holy, and God is saying, I don't think so.
Well,
That's not happening.
We're gonna get to that at the end of the chapter.
Okay, vamos a estudiar esto sobre
Because
el
what Babel
capítulo.
is wearing, you're absolutely correct, it's purple.
Por lo que está, lo que tiene Babilonia, los colores, que es púrpura o morado.
Okay? She has a demonic holiness.
Tiene una santificación
Demonic.
demoníaca.
Okay? So you see Satan he wants to have his kingdom.
Así que vemos aquí que Satanás quiere obtener su reino.
That's why he's the anti-Messiah.
Por eso es que él es el antimesías.
Because it's the opposite of what is righteous.
Porque es lo opuesto de lo que es santificación a los ojos de
The
Dios.
fornication,
La fornicación.
the love of money and power.
El amor hacia el dinero y el poder.
And we see that people do want to be led.
Pero vemos aquí que la gente, they want to be led that
They
way.
want to be led
Que ellos quieren ser dirigidos a esto.
because they seek after that.
Porque ellos están haciendo una búsqueda sobre estas cosas.
And especially after all these things have happened when we get to Revelation 18.
Y especialmente después de que lleguemos a lo que está escrito aquí en
The
Apocalipsis
world has
18.
been will be torn apart by war like never before.
El mundo va a ser completamente destruido por guerras.
There'll be mass death.
Va a haber muerte y casualidades tan enormes.
The world will be just ravaged by horrendous things.
El mundo va a ser destruido por cosas muy horrendas.
Now this evil one raises up.
Ahora este malvado se levanta, se le da ese poder
And people will worship that one.
y la gente va a adorar a él
Instead of the King of Heaven.
en vez de el Rey de todos los cielos.
Because it'll taste like the dainties,
Porque
the
delicacies,
delicacies.
porque va a tener un sabor muy delicioso.
People don't want to work.
La gente no quiere trabajar.
People are notoriously lazy.
La gente es muy muy opuesto a esto. No
So
quiere
you
eso.
come to this point
Así que llegamos a este punto
and you get this person who's a great speaker
y llegamos a esta persona que es un gran orador,
offering you stuff that any hot-blooded man would want.
ofreciéndote cosas que cualquier hombre codiciaría,
And the women wanting the same thing now.
y las mujeres queriendo la misma cosa.
Now you see how it gets drawn in.
Ahora podemos ver cómo ellos se están dirigiendo a eso.
But now we're going to see what the Lord is going to do to them.
Pero ahora vamos a ver lo que el Señor va a hacer con
And most
ellos.
people really don't think that they have a soul that's going to live on.
Y mucha gente no piensa que tiene alma que va a continuar después de que el cuerpo perezca aquí en el mundo.
And if they did,
Y si ellos supieran esto,
then there would be an urgency in what we are doing.
entonces tuviéramos más urgencia para ver lo que estamos haciendo
And a willingness to fight for what we believe in.
y querer pelear sobre lo que nosotros
And
creíamos.
stopping people at the line and saying, no, no.
Y parar aquí a la gente diciendo, no hagas esto.
You keep your garbage over there and do
Tú-
not come here.
Mantén tus cosas allá y no vengas para acá.
So now the Lord has had enough at this point in the scripture.
Ahora aquí en esta parte de la escritura podemos ver que el Señor ya está, ya no quiere ver nada más
And,
con esto.
you know, and in this chapter you see what happens to Babel.
Y en este capítulo podemos ver lo que está pasando
In
aquí en
1 hour.
Babilonia, lo que pasa con Babilonia en una hora.
Okay, so let's move on to this supersized drink that Mr. Bloomberg doesn't like.
Ahora vamos aquí a este.
Revelation 18 verse 6.
Okay.
I just thought it's like so
double size
funny.
drink. Okay.
Revelation 18:6 verse slide 15.
Que Apocalipsis 18 versículo 6.
Yeah, because here in New York, those who are not in the New York area,
Para aquellos que no están aquí en la área de Nueva York,
the Jewish mayor of New York
el alcalde judío de Nueva York
has stopped people from drinking supersized drinks.
ha parado a la
Big
gente de su, sí, a la gente de su ciudad que no tome bebidas dobles así.
But the Lord is going to be pouring us out a supersized.
Pero el Señor vamos a ver que va a preparar una bebida muy grande así.
Render to her as she's rendered to others. Pay her back double for what she has done. Use the cup in which she has brewed to brew her a double-sized drink.
Mm.
Supersize that.
Mm.
So,
Háganlo super size.
yeah. So here, the Lord is going to be giving us a big old drink of something.
Aquí el Señor nos va a dar una bebida de algo que nos está
But it
preparando.
ain't going to be Diet Mountain Dew.
Pero no va a ser Mountain Dew de dieta.
It ain't going to be a Diet Pepsi.
No va a ser Diet Pepsi.
It's going to be a cup of his wrath and a double-sized drink.
Va a ser una copa de su furia y va a ser doble.
So here, the key is a double.
Aquí la palabra clave es doble.
So the Lord is going to be giving her back double.
Así que el Señor va a darte una porción doble.
And there are some things you want double of from the Lord.
Y hay varias cosas que si quieres que sean doble del
Like
Señor.
double blessings are nice.
Como tener una bendición doble
Of
es
of
muy
nice
bonito,
things.
de cosas buenas.
So the
Son
Lord's going to
buenas.
give a double blessing of something not so nice.
Así que podemos ver aquí que el Señor va a dar una porción doble de algo que no es bueno.
So let's move on to slide number 16.
Ok, así que vamos a continuar con la página 16.
And let's turn to Shemot, Exodus chapter 22.
Vamos al libro de Éxodo, capítulo 22, versículo, which one is it though?
Verse 2 through 4.
Versículo 2 al 4.
Exodus 22, verse 2 through 4. Somebody's got.
Bless you.
Okay. If a thief caught in the act of breaking in is beaten to death, it is not murder, unless it happens after sunrise, in which case it is murder. A thief must make restitution, so if he has nothing, he himself is to be sold to make good the loss for the theft. If what he stole is found alive in his possession, he is to pay double, no matter whether it is an ox or a donkey or a sheep. So here you got the thing, if you want to use a gun, Will,
Aquí tienes, si quieres usar una pistola.
Torah says that as long as it's before sunrise, you all can shoot the guy to.
El Torah dice que sea antes de que salga el sol.
Actually-
es
Say again?
legal eso.
Actually, North Carolina law agrees with that. At dark, no problem, but in the daylight, you can't shoot somebody just to defend property, only to defend life.
Okay, so yeah, they took Torah.
Así
All
que vemos aquí que ellos están tomando el Torah.
But here the key is verse 4.
Pero la clave aquí es el versículo 4.
If the stolen object is found in your possession, then you got to pay double.
Entonces, si el objeto lo tienes en la mano, entonces tienes que pagar doble.
Okay? So if you're the thing that was stolen from God,
Así que si tú eres yourself,
you the person,
si tú eres el objeto que fue,
then God is going to pay you back double.
okay, I'm sorry. Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
It's a spiritual look instead
Okay.
of an objectal look.
Okay, es una pista espiritual. Si tú fuiste, if you were stolen,
You're the one who stole yourself away from God.
oh, si tú eres el que te robaste sí mismo away from God,
Ajá.
fuera y te alejas de Dios.
So you're the object. You're in possession of the object that was stolen.
Así que tú eres el objeto que fue robado,
But you are the object.
pero tú eres el
So
objeto.
God's going to pour out the double wrath on you.
Así que la furia de Dios te va a dar doble porción de la ira de Dios,
Because it goes along with the Torah scripture.
porque va aquí con esa escritura del Torah.
So here,
It's interesting.
yes?
Yes.
No, I was just gonna say, it says in scripture that, whether we are right with him or not, the spirit goes back to him. It's the soul that may go to him or may go somewhere else, right? That's correct?
The soul returns to God, which has sent it.
Yeah, so what you're saying then is that, because I think there was a scripture that says the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
That's Paul.
Yeah, so the spirit wants to do what's right,
Well,
but
Yeshua
we are
said
keeping our
that,
spirit away from him, and therefore stealing from him.
No, Paul says it. Paul says it.
The spirit
That,
is.
that
the
he
spirit
wars
is-
against himself. That's why he beats himself daily.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Gethsemane. Gethsemane.
Oh, he said
Yeshua.
that. He said that to Kepha.
To Kepha, right.
After Pesach.
Yeah.
Please go ahead again.
No, I was just saying,
Watch her.
thinking about that is that what you're saying is that our spirit wanting to do what is right, but us following our flesh instead is
Mhm.
keeping our spirit from him and therefore robbing him, and then he pays us
Mhm.
for that. Okay.
Yeah. And because you're part of Babel.
Porque eres parte de Babilonia.
Because we're seeing this so much, and we're seeing the groundwork in our world
Si
today.
estamos viendo que todo esto se está preparando,
Because the
en nuestro
Satanists
mundo.
want to evolve things,
porque los satánicos quieren como evolucionar las
but
cosas,
the word doesn't evolve.
pero la palabra no se mejora.
So the reason he's paying back double
Así que la razón que él está dándote esa doble porción
is a Torah law.
es una ley del Torah.
So he's got to pay back double because you've stolen property.
Así que él te va a pagar doble porque tú has robado propiedad
You're the property you stole of yourself
y tú eres la propiedad que te has robado a sí mismo
by
fuera
your
de él,
choice, by your choice that you make,
por esa decisión que has hecho,
because of the fornication that people are choosing.
por esa fornicación que estás escogiendo.
Okay. Now let's turn to Genesis 41,
Ahora vamos a Génesis 41,
verse 32.
versículo 32.
41:32. Genesis 41, better sheet 41:32. Why was the dream doubled for Pharaoh? Because the matter has been fixed by God, and God will shortly cause it to happen. So we have the example of Pharaoh
Así que tenemos el ejemplo de Faraón
getting a double.
recibiendo esa doble
And
porción.
it wasn't a ground rule double. Baseball, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so here, and it has been fixed.
Aquí ha sido establecido por el Señor.
So God's saying this about Babel.
Así que el Señor está diciendo esto sobre Babel,
It has been fixed.
que Él ya ha establecido eso.
And you don't know when this is going to come down.
Y no sabes cuándo esto vaya a venir.
So you should not want to take part of what they're doing.
Así que no quieres tomar parte de esto, de lo que está tomando parte el mundo.
All right, let's move back to Revelation 18,
Ok, vamos a regresar a Apocalipsis 18 otra vez,
verse 7.
versículo 7.
Revelation 18, verse 7.
Apocalipsis 18, versículo 7.
We're going to get through it tonight.
The whole chapter?
Maybe. I'm going to try. Give her as much torment and sorrow as the glory and luxury she gave herself. For in her heart she says, I sit a queen. I am not a widow. I will never see sorrow.
Hmm.
That is some major, major attitude there.
Eso es una actitud ahí.
I will never see sorrow.
Nunca veré llanto.
I am a queen.
Yo soy una reina.
I don't think the Lord is going to like that too much.
Yo no pienso que el Señor vaya a piense muy bien de
And
eso.
once you see the reference
Y-
to where it comes from.
Y cuando mires la escritura que respalda esta escritura.
Now remember when Revelation was written,
Ahora acuérdense, cuando el libro de Apocalipsis fue escrito,
these events have not transpired.
estos eventos no han pasado aún.
So the Lord knows everything, how it's going to play.
Así que el Señor sabe todo, cómo todo se va a formar.
So he's going to fulfill his own word.
Así que él va a cumplir su propia
And you're going
palabra.
to be used as a pawn.
Y tú vas a ser usado como una herramienta.
Even though the queen on a chessboard can do a lot of different things.
Aunque la reina en un juego de ajedrez puede hacer lo que quiera.
And many people think that that piece is one of the best pieces to have.
Y mucha gente piensa que esa pieza es la mejor pieza para tener.
But it takes the king who's going to win the game.
Pero es el rey que va a ganar el juego.
Now let's look at slide 18
Vamos a ver la página 18.
and turn to Zephaniah chapter 2.
Vamos al libro de Zafanías. Let me see.
Zephaniah 2 verse 9 through 15.
Okay, let me see.
Zephaniah 2 verse 9 through 15. Zephaniah 2 verse 9 through 15. Got it? Somewhere in that area it's a minor prophet, but I think it's after Yoel. Put the Z's together. When in doubt, go to the index.
Abdías,
Now, one's in the reign of Valera here in Spanish.
Jonas, Micaeas.
Zephaniah chapter 2. We're just waiting for the translator.
Sofonías, okay. Sofonías. kind of
Chapter
like
2, verse
Sofonías.
9 through 15.
Capítulo 2, versículo 9 al 15.
Therefore, as I live, says Adonai Sivo, the God of Israel, Moab will become like Sodom, and the people of Ammon like Amorah, a land covered with nettles and salt pits, desolate forever. And the remnant of my people will plunder them. The survivors of my nation will inherit them. This is what they will earn for their pride, for having revealed, and boasted against the people of Adonai Sivo. Adonai will be fearsome against them, for he will make all the earth's gods waste away. Then all the coasts and the island of the nations will worship him, each from its place. You two Ethiopians will be put to death by the sword. He will stretch out his hand against the north. He will destroy Ashur. He will make Nineveh desolate in a dry place. Herds will lie down in it, and all kinds of wild animals too. Jackdaws and owls will roost on her columns, voices screeching in the windows, desolation on the doorsteps, for its cedarwork is stripped bare. Here's your key verse, 15. This is the city once so joyful, whose people felt themselves secure. Who used to say to herself, I am the greatest. I have no rival. What a ruin she has become, place for wild animals to lie down. Everyone passing by her hisses and shakes his fist. Sounds a little bit like there was a boxer
Esto suena como un boxeador aquí,
who was a Christian and then became a Muslim.
que era un cristiano y se convirtió a musulmán.
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. Wow.
Yeah, he's a Muslim
Es un musulmán él.
who's got Parkinson's disease and can't do anything.
que tiene esa enfermedad de Parkinson's
He
y no
can't
puede,
even
hacer
really
nada.
talk.
No puede ni hablar.
Needs people to help him go to the bathroom.
Necesita que lo ayuden a ir al baño.
And he used to say, I'm the greatest.
Y él
All the
decía,
time.
yo soy el más grande.
He used to say, I have no rival.
Dice, yo no tengo rival.
But here we're going to take that a little further.
Pero aquí vamos a continuar un poco más.
So here in Zephaniah, you see what the Lord is going to do to Zephaniah.
Así que vemos aquí to Zephaniah. Aquí
Well,
podemos-
to Babel here in Zephaniah.
Oh, ok. Vemos aquí que lo que va a hacer Dios con Babilonia aquí en el profeta Sofonías.
And then you see the Ethiopians, which is part of the Medes
Y vemos,
area.
vemos aquí los etiopos,
Mhm.
que son parte de los medos.
No, it was part of the map. It was there. It was there.
West and south.
It said it on the map. Maybe what's left of it now, but back then it was larger. It was on the map. It was an old map. What's left now, remember the lines have changed, the borders change. Yeah, constantly in Africa. Okay? So back when the Medes were, that's what you're looking at. Okay? So anyway, you see what the Lord is going to do to this one who says, I'm never going to see sorrow.
Así que podemos ver aquí lo que Dios va a hacer con este que dice que yo nunca voy a ver llanto.
Yeah, I agree with you, Evelyn. It does sound like America. We're going down, and we're going down fast.
Esto también suena como América. El país se está destruyendo poco a poco y va muy
And the biggest
pronto. a
and the
ese
biggest part
desastre.
is that the body can't stick together. Nobody follows the word together.
Y el cuerpo, el problema es que el cuerpo no está junto.
All right, let's go to Revelation 18, verse 8.
Bueno, vamos a Apocalipsis 18, versículo 8.
Revelation 18, verse 8.
Apocalipsis 18, versículo
Slide
8.
19.
Página 19.
Therefore, her plagues will come in a single day, death, sorrow, and famine, and she will be burned with fire because Adonai, God, her judge, is mighty. So here you see something like in a single day.
Así que podemos ver aquí que es solo un día o un solo día,
Which is actually pretty nice.
que actualmente es algo muy bueno,
Everything's good, everything is bad.
porque todo va a estar bien y luego todo va a estar
No
mal.
suffering.
No va a haber
It's
sufrimiento.
24 hours, ain't so bad.
24 horas no es tan malo eso.
And if it's less than that, it's even better.
Y si es menos de esto, es mejor aún.
Imagine 6 hours on a cross like Yeshua did.
Imagínate 6 horas como Yeshua.
Personally, like the guillotine,
Personalmente, a mí me gusta la guillotina.
It's all of a split second.
Es bien pronto.
You're alive, you're dead.
Estás vivo y luego estás
You're
muerto.
alive, and the next thing you wake up, there you are with Yeshua.
Estás vivo un segundo y el otro segundo estás ahí con Yeshua.
But you're on the cross,
Pero tú estás en la cruz
and dying slowly.
y muriendo bien despacio.
It's a lot of pain for a
Es-
long time.
Es mucho dolor por mucho tiempo.
But even this, 24 hours, of all hell breaking loose, that's not bad.
Pero hasta 24 horas después de que todo infierno se derrame, es muy pronto.
And that's grace with the Lord.
Y eso es la gracia del Señor.
I mean, once you die and your spirit goes back to Him,
Ya cuando perezcas y tu espíritu regrese a
and
Él,
you're on the wrong side of the track,
y tú no estás en el lado correcto,
then you got a problem.
entonces ahí es donde va a haber el problema.
Then it's not going to be short.
Entonces ahí eso no va a ser corto.
At minimum, 1,000 years.
Por lo mínimo va a ser 1000 años.
So let's see where this single day comes into play.
Así que vamos a ver este día singular, de dónde viene. Este
Let's
solo día.
turn to slide 20 in Isaiah 47.
Vamos a la página 20 y vamos al libro de Isaías, capítulo 47, versículo 4 al 9.
Isaiah 47, verse 4 through 9. Isaiah 47, verse 4 through 9. Our Redeemer, Adonai Sivaot, is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit there speechless, go into darkness, you daughter of Kasdim, for you will no longer be called the mistress of kingdoms. I was angry with my people. I desecrated my own possession and gave them over to you, but you showed them no mercy. You made your yoke very heavy, even upon the aged. You said, I will be mistress forever. So you didn't consider these things or think about consequences. Now hear this, you lover of luxuries. That's what we were talking about earlier. Lolling at ease and saying to yourself, I am important and no one else. I will never be a widow or know the loss of children, but both will come over you in an instant. In a single day, loss of children and widowhood, they will utterly overwhelm you despite your many occult practices and powerful spells to prevent it. Look at verse 9 again.
Vamos a ver el versículo 9 ahora.
But both will come over you in an instant, in a single day, loss of children and widowhood. They will utterly overwhelm you, despite your many occult practices and powerful spells to prevent it. So here, you have all these occult practices going on with this Babel.
Así que vemos aquí que hay prácticas de maldad, hechizos, aquí en Babel.
And then all of a
Babilonia.
sudden, God says, that's enough.
Y luego de repente dice Dios, ya, esto, basta con esto.
And, excuse me, in verse 8,
El versículo 8
it talks about those dainties or those luxuries that we were talking about earlier.
habla de esos lujos o delicadezas que estábamos hablando.
I read an article today. He's on the border between Mexico and the United States, going between Laredo, Texas, and one other town in Mexico. Mexican authorities broke up basically a slavery thing, but basically going along with the adultery thing. It's going along here. There's basically it was an occult practice, and they call themselves defenders of Christ, and practitioners of sin. They had to, to sexual services as paid for this cult.
Yeah.
And
So,
they're all from Latin American countries, like 14 people arrested.
yep, we are sliding into the pit here.
Sí, estamos viendo que el mundo se está yendo al infierno ahorita.
Okay, but here the Lord is saying in a single day,
Pero aquí estamos viendo que el Señor en un solo día,
nothing you can do, all your practices are not going to help you.
todas estas prácticas y hechizos no te van a ayudar.
Because I've had enough of your
Porque
garbage.
ya basta con todo lo que estás haciendo.
And you've even, in verse 7, you said, I'll be a mistress forever.
Y podemos ver aquí en el versículo 7 que para siempre serás señora.
Remember, we read that the queen will say, I'll never see sorrow.
Acuérdense, en el Apocalipsis está escrito que la reina dice, nunca veré llanto.
Well, evidently, the Lord has got a different plan for you.
Pues evidentemente el Señor tiene un diferente plan para ti.
All right, let's move back to Revelation 18.
Así que vamos a continuar con Apocalipsis 18 otra vez.
We're going to group together verse 8 through 10 now.
Ahora vamos al grupo versículo 8 al 10, por favor,
It's one thought process here.
porque es un pensamiento aquí.
Revelation 18, verse 8 through 10, slide 21.
Ok, página 21, por favor.
Therefore her plagues will come in a single day, death, sorrow, and famine, and she will be burned with fire, because Adonai, God, her judge, is mighty. The kings of the earth, who went whoring with her and shared her luxury, will sob and wail over her when they see the smoke as she burns. Standing at a distance for fear of her torment, they will say, Oh no, the great city Babel, the mighty city, in a single hour, your judgment has come. So it seems by this
Aparenta esto viendo
that it's
esto,
going to come by fire, some sort of fire.
que esto va a venir con algún tipo de fuego,
But a fire that is so devastating it destroys everything.
pero un fuego tan devastador que destruye todo.
So that could be a nuclear thing,
Así que quizá esto pueda ser una cosa nuclear
or something from heaven.
o algo que viene del cielo,
But whatever it is, it's going to be a fire.
pero lo que sea va a ser por un tipo de fuego.
And this one, we're looking at a single hour your judgment has come.
Y aquí podemos ver que en una hora ha llegado tu juicio.
So this is even getting even worse.
Así que esto definitivamente es peor.
So let's see where this ties together.
Así que vamos a ver dónde va mano en mano con esto.
Turn to slide 22
Vamos a la página 22
and turn to Daniel chapter 4.
y vamos al libro de Daniel, capítulo 4.
Daniel chapter 4, verse 32 and 33.
Daniel 4, versículo 32 al 33.
Daniel 4, verse 32 and 33 says, "You'll be driven from human society to live with the wild animals. You will be made to eat grass like an ox, and be drenched with dew from the sky as 7 seasons pass over you until you learn that the Most High rules in the human kingdom and gives it to whomever he pleases. Within the hour, the word was fulfilled. Nebuchadnezzar was driven from human society, ate grass like an ox, and his body was drenched with dew from the sky until his hair had grown like eagle's feathers and is now like bird claws." Okay? So his kingdom was going great.
Así que su reino estaba bueno.
And then all of a sudden,
Y luego de repente,
the Lord says, "You know what? I've had enough of you."
el Señor dice, ¿sabes qué? Ya basta con esto.
And within 1 hour,
Y en una hora,
everything was fulfilled.
todo fue cumplido.
Well, he had said right before that. He says he walks out on his porch, looks out over the city and says very blatantly, "Look how much I did." He started praising himself on the roof of his palace.
Hmm
And God said, "I'll forgive this."
Yeah, he was being arrogant, like what the prostitute says in Revelation.
Aquí podemos ver que el rey Nebuchadnezzar era muy arrogante y Dios hizo con él con lo que va a hacer evidentemente con Babilonia.
So now, within the hour, boom,
Así
all
que
hell breaks
en
loose.
una hora todo infierno se derrama.
Okay, so this is getting us a little bit deeper. Well, who's Nebuchadnezzar? Where was he?
Así que esto nos da un entendimiento más profundo y nos hacemos la pregunta, ¿quién es Nebuchadnezzar y qué es lo que él hizo?
Where was his kingdom?
¿Dónde estaba su reino?
Who was he the king of?
¿De dónde era el rey?
King of Babel.
Era el rey de Babilonia.
And who, as we talked about last week,
Y como hablamos la semana pasada,
who thought he was Nebuchadnezzar reincarnated?
¿quién pensaba que era Nebuchadnezzar, el nuevo Nebuchadnezzar?
Who was rebuilding Babylon?
¿Quién estaba construyendo otra vez de nuevo Babilonia?
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
When was Saddam Hussein hung?
¿Cuándo fue colgado Saddam Hussein?
In
in
December of
December
2006,
2006. En el diciembre 2006.
almost 7 seasons ago.
Casi 7 temporadas.
The puzzle's getting a little there clearer, everybody.
Así que aquí podemos ver que el rompecabezas se está poniendo un poquito más claro aquí.
Now let's turn to Revelation 18, verse 11 through 13, for those who are just arriving.
Ahora vamos aquí a Apocalipsis 18, versículo 11 al 13, por favor.
Su madre y padre. Dum. Revelation 18, verse 11 through 13, slide 23. Now you fill it up with water so it can expand in her belly. Revelation 18, verse 11 through 13. The world's businessmen weep and mourn over her because no one is buying their merchandise anymore. Stocks of gold and silver.
Uh-oh.
Drink it. Don't inhale it. You look like Joviana when you do that. Socks of gold and silver, gems and pearls, fine linen and purple, silk and scarlet. Enough out of you. All rare woods, all ivory goods, all kinds of things made for scented wood, brass, iron, and marble. Cinnamon, cardamom, incense, myrrh, frankincense, wine, oil, flour, grain, cattle, sheep, horses, chariots, and bodies, and people's souls. So what caught my interest there was bodies and people's souls?
Lo que me llamó la atención aquí es okay, it says bodies. Where does it say bodies?
It'll be slaves.
Oh, okay.
It's most likely
Esclavos, okay.
slaves.
Lo que me llamó la atención aquí fueron los esclavos y las almas de hombres.
But you see a whole grouping in verse 11 and 12. You see, or actually 12 and 13. You see precious metals and things.
Pero aquí podemos ver en el versículo 12 y 13 que habla sobre las cosas preciosas, materiales finos.
Okay, fine linen and purple.
El lino fino de púrpura.
What would be scented wood?
¿Qué sería madera
Cedar wood.
con olor?
Cedar wood.
La madera de cedra.
Okay, brass and iron.
Hierro y brass, cobre y de hierro. Okay, de cobre, hecho de cobre y de hierro.
And what do you use in the Mishkan, the tabernacle? What
¿Qué
did
es,
you use?
qué es lo que se usa en el tabernáculo?
Wood, brass, iron.
El cobre, el hierro, la madera.
And what else did you use in the
¿Qué
tabernacle?
más se usa en el tabernáculo?
Myrrh and frankincense,
Mirra, incenso,
offerings of wine, oil, flour, grain, cattle, sheep, horse, not chariots.
las ofrendas eran
No, not horses.
las ofrendas eran de aceite, flor de harina, de trigo,
But sheep, cattle,
bestias,
grain?
ovejas, caballos.
But
Bueno,
they-
no caballos, I don't think.
No caballos, no
not-
horses.
No horses.
No
yeah.
suses.
No horses.
Do they have a split hoof?
I
I don't think they chew their
no.
cud.
No, they don't
No,
have a
They
split.
have the round one. Yeah.
They have a horseshoe.
That's- yeah, okay. All right, so we can't be eating horses. Don't
Así que
eat
no.
trigger, okay?
Así que no podemos comer
But
caballos.
the key here to the tie-in here is this bodies are slaves and
Pero-
people's souls.
Pero aquí podemos ver lo que está escrito, esclavos y almas de hombres.
All right, let's go see where that is.
Vamos a ver de dónde viene esto.
Turn to Ezekiel 27.
Vamos a Ezequiel 27, versículo 5 al 13.
We're going to look at Ezekiel 27, verse 5 through 13. Ezekiel 27,
Ezequiel 27,
verse 5 through 13.
versículo 5 al 13.
They used cypress logs from Sinir to fashion all your planks. They took cedars from the Lebanon to make masts for you. Out of oaks from Bashan they made your oars. Your decks they made of ivory inlaid with larch from the coast of Kittim. Richly woven linen from Egypt was used for your sail, which was also your banner. Blue and purple from the coast of Elisha was used to cover your deck tent. The people of Zidon and Arvad served as your oarsmen. You owned skilled men. Zor were there as your pilots. The leaders of the craftsmen of Gaval sealed the cracks between your boards. Every sea-going ship and its crew came to you to trade in your wares. Men from Paras, Lud, and Put were mercenaries in your armor. Hanging shield and helmet on you, they showed off your splendor. Men from Arvad and your own army were posted around your walls. The Gammadim were in your towers. They hung their shields all around your walls, making your beauty perfect. Tarshish did business with you because of the quantity and variety of your resources. They exchanged silver, iron, tin, and lead for your goods. Greece, Tuval, and Meshech traded with you, exchanging slaves and articles of bronze for your wares. So here in verse 13,
Así que en el versículo 13 podemos ver,
you have the bodies, the exchanging of slaves.
tenemos aquí el intercambio con esclavos, de esclavos aquí.
In verse 8, you own skilled men.
El versículo 8 vemos, tienes tus sabios.
Okay, so you see that this land, this is tying together. This gives you more of a hint, maybe where this area is going to be,
Así que esto nos puede dar una pista de dónde será esta área,
because it's got the tie-in together with the exchanging of bodies.
porque va mano en mano con el
Slaves.
intercambio de esclavos, de esos hombres.
What, Tris? Did you say something? Okay. All right, let's go back to Revelation.
Ok,
We're gonna finish up soon.
vamos a regresar aquí en Apocalipsis 18, 14 al 16.
Revelation 18, verse 14 through 16. This ties together with the anti-Messiah type of mimicking the Lord.
Así, esto interlaza aquí con el antimesías, que es como una remeda aquí al Señor.
The fruit you lusted for with your heart have gone. All the luxuries and flashiness have been destroyed, never to return. The sellers of these things who got rich from her will stand at a distance for fear of her torment, weeping and mourning, and saying, "Oh no, the great city used to wear fine linen, purple and scarlet. She glittered with gold, precious stones, and pearls." If you look close at verse 16,
Si podemos ver más cercanamente el versículo 16,
what did this great city used to wear?
¿qué era lo que la vestidura de esta gran ciudad?
Linen, purple and scarlet.
Lino fino, de púrpura y de escarlata.
Who was dressed in linen?
¿Quién fue vestido en lino?
The high priest. Who was dressed in purple?
El sumo sacerdote. ¿Quién fue vestido en púrpura?
The high priest.
El sumo sacerdote.
What city or a representation of a city was in purple and scarlet and linen?
¿Qué ciudad estaba vestida de púrpura y escarlata?
The tabernacle.
El tabernáculo.
It also said glittered with gold and precious stones.
También dice aquí,
Like a cat.
adornada de oro y de piedras preciosas y de perlas.
Okay? The tabernacle, the Mishkan, was glittered with gold.
El tabernáculo estaba adornado de oro.
On the ephod of the high priest was precious stones.
Aquí en el escudo del
Ephod.
yeah, the
The
shield.
ephod, uh-huh.
Okay. En el escudo del sumo sacerdote se encontraban esas piedras preciosas.
So you see, this city is trying to be God's holy place.
Así que esta ciudad trata de ser semejante como la ciudad de Dios.
But all they do is fornication and other bad things.
Pero todo lo que hacen ahí es fornicación y puras cosas malas. So it's trying to mimic Jerusalem then.
Yes.
Jerusalem. But in Daniel it's written that in the dream of that king, that there was going to be a mountain, I think, that was going to be heavy, and that it was going to crush that kingdom of iron and clay, I think, or the rock that was going to
We're
crush
going to
something,
get
or
to
heavy stone.
the millstone in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was Nebuchadnezzar's dream too.
Well, it's all
Yeah.
puzzle pieces are coming together.
Yeah.
It's interesting that isn't the Mormons that have decided Jerusalem is now somewhere else?
The Mormons, that would be Nevada.
No, that's Utah, isn't it?
Utah, yeah.
But they're the ones that said that the New Jerusalem is Utah or something like that.
Yeah, because the book of Moroni.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Let's go to the next slide to tie the purple.
Ok, vamos a la próxima página aquí.
Exodus 26, verse 1.
Éxodo 26, versículo 1.
Exodus 26, verse 1.
Éxodo 26, versículo 1.
You are to make the tabernacle with 10 sheets of fine woven linen with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn. You are to make them with the cherubim worked in it that have been crafted by a skilled artisan. So, for those who don't know how the Mishkan was made,
Así que para aquellos que no tengan ese entendimiento, cómo fue construido el tabernáculo,
you see how this evil one is trying to mimic the Mishkan.
podemos ver que este malvado quiere imitar el tabernáculo aquí.
Okay, now let's also go to Exodus 28, verse 15.
Ahora vamos a Éxodo 28, versículo 15.
Exodus 28, verse 15. Make a breastplate for judging, have it crafted by a skilled artisan, make it like the work of a ritual vest, make it of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely woven linen. And then, the stones are also in there.
Y aquí podemos ver que las piedras, podemos ver que se encuentran aquí.
So you see that this anti-Messiah city is mimicking God's tabernacle.
Así que podemos ver aquí que esta ciudad que el malvado está construyendo trata de imitar a la de Dios.
Oh,
Oops. Oh
that's
no.
gonna hurt.
Uh-oh.
All right. Let's get to verse. Let's go back to Revelation 18, verse 21 now.
Ahora vamos a regresar a Apocalipsis 18. Which one?
Revelation 18, verse 21.
Versículo 21 ahora.
We're going to tie in together what Juan just spoke about.
Okay.
Revelation 18, verse 21. Then a mighty angel picked up a boulder the size of a great millstone and hurled it into the sea, saying, with violence like this will the great city Babel be hurled down, never to be found again. Okay? The word in Greek there for millstone is mulos.
La palabra para piedra de molino en griego es mulos,
Okay, because most people don't know what a millstone is.
porque
What it does.
muchos no saben qué es un molino.
A millstone is a large stone.
La piedra de molino es una piedra muy grande
It actually consists of two stones.
que actualmente son dos piedras.
And what it does is it grinds things together.
Y lo que hace es grinds. Can somebody help me out?
Mashes
Yeah, can
things.
somebody help me out with?
Somebody help with
grind?
grinding or mashing.
Grind.
Muele.
Muele. Okay, thank you. Muele cosas.
Okay? So the Lord, the angel is picking up a gigantic millstone and grinding it down to earth here.
Así que podemos ver que el Señor está levantando esa piedra de molino y la está tirando aquí el Señor.
And this, the city is never going to be found again after that.
Y la ciudad nunca va a ser hallada, jamás.
That's a total destruction. Good thing it's only a day.
Eso es destrucción total. Qué bueno que es solamente un día.
All right, let's go to slide 28 and turn to Jeremiah 51 to get a bigger picture of
Okay.
this.
Vamos a la página 28, Jeremías 51, versículos 60 al 64.
Jeremiah 51, verse 60 through 64.
Jeremías 51, versículos 60 al 64.
Jeremiah 51, verse 60 to 64. You getting enough notes there, Raina? You filling up a notebook?
Well, of course I am.
Yirmiyahu had written on a separate scroll all the above words describing the disaster that was to befall Babel. Yirmiyahu said to Seraiah, see to it that when you arrive in Babel, you read all these words aloud. Then say, Adonai, you have promised to destroy this place, that no one will live here, neither human nor animal, but that it will be desolate forever. When you finish reading this scroll, tie a rock to it, throw it up into the middle of the Euphrates and say like this, Babel will sink, never to rise again because of the disaster I am bringing on her, and they will grow weary. Up to here, these have been the words of Yirmiyahu. So here, Jeremiah is once again
Así que podemos ver una vez más que Jeremías
showing that Babel is going to be destroyed,
nos está mostrando que Babilonia va a ser completamente destruida.
and that has been foretold a long time ago.
Y esto ya es una profecía de mucho más antes.
And then after this last time, it will never come back again.
Y después de esto jamás va a ser encontrado. Praise God.
With the water, with him throwing it into the water, into the Euphrates River,
Derribando esta ciudad o esta piedra, say it again,
with the
it being
water
thrown out?
with him throwing the rock into the Euphrates River,
En eso de tirar esa roca en el río Eufrates,
it can give you an understanding that it might be, flooded, like
nos
a
da,
tsunami.
nos da un entendimiento quizás de que puede ser un tsunami
Or like a city that sinks into the
o
ocean.
una ciudad que quizás a lo mejor se hunde al mar.
Yeah,
I would see that more as a flood in the way that we've been reading Revelation 18 here, and we've gone through all of this. It's taken us 2 hours to study each and every part of it. And we've been saying all this happens in a day. So would you say that it has more of a flood of plagues more back, where it's a flood of things happening, it just suddenly comes, and there's no stopping it, but it's a massive quantity all at once?
well, we have a fire,
Okay, podemos ver que hay un fuego.
and now you have the rock being thrown into the Euphrates.
Ahora vemos la roca siendo derribada al río.
So it's a twofold destruction at minimum.
Así que por lo mínimo es una destrucción de doble porción.
But the question is, why would he throw the rock into the middle of the Euphrates?
Pero la pregunta es, ¿por qué derribaría esta ciudad en medio del río Euphrates?
It's a covering by water surrounding it, sinking to the bottom of something.
Es algo que lo está cubriendo, que se está hundiendo.
So the Lord could open up the earth and pour water on it too. A great fire to suck it in.
Así que el Señor quizás a lo mejor está abriendo la tierra que cause un incendio.
All I
y
know
se
is I don't
hunda.
want to be there.
Todo lo que yo sé es que yo no quiero estar ahí. Perhaps maybe an earthquake that swallows up the
Yeah.
city like Korach.
Uh-huh. So let's go to our last two scriptures. Go back to
Okay, vamos a-
Revelation 18, verse 22 to 24.
Vamos a nuestras últimas dos escrituras de esta tarde, versículo 22 al
4.
24. Okay, the last three scriptures.
The last couple of verses here, and we just got one more scripture to go on to after that, so we're going to finish this chapter tonight.
Okay, vamos a terminar aquí este capítulo.
The sound of harpists and musicians, flute players, and trumpeters will never again be heard in you. No worker of any trade will ever again be found in you. The sound of a mill will never again be heard in you. The light of a lamp will never again shine on you. The voice of the bridegroom and bride will never again be heard in you. For your businessmen were the most powerful on earth. All the nations were deceived by your magic spell. In her was found the blood of prophets and of God's people. Indeed, of all who have ever been slaughtered on the earth. So we're going to focus here on this magic spell for right now.
Vamos a enfocarnos aquí en esta palabra hechicerías.
Okay, so let's see what about this magic spell.
Así que vamos a ver de qué se trata esos hechizos.
Turn to 2 Chronicles,
Vamos al libro de Crónicos, el segundo de Crónicos,
chapter 33,
capítulo 33,
verse 1 through 6.
versículo 1 al 6.
2 Chronicles chapter 33, verse 1 through 6. This will be the last part of tonight.
Esto será la última parte.
Second Chronicles 33,
Segunda de Crónicas, Capítulo 33,
33,
versículo
verse 1 through 6.
1 al 6, por favor.
Manasseh was 12 years old when he began his reign, and he ruled 55 years in Jerusalem. He did what was evil from Adonai's perspective, following the disgusting practices of the nations whom Adonai had expelled ahead of the people of Israel. For he rebuilt the high places which Hezekiah, his father, had smashed. He erected altars on the Baalim, made sacred poles, and worshipped all the army of heaven and served them. He erected altars in the house of Adonai, concerning which Adonai had said, "My name will be in Jerusalem forever." He erected altars for the army of heaven in the two courtyards of the house of Adonai. He made his children pass through the fire as a sacrifice in Ben Hinnom Valley. He practiced soothsaying, divination, and sorcery, and appointed mediums and persons who used spirit guides. He did much evil. He did much that was evil from Adonai's perspective, thus provoking him to anger. So you see the parallel of Manasseh,
Podemos ver el paralelo aquí de Manases,
that he tears down what his father had rebuilt for the Lord.
ah,
He tears down what his father had rebuilt for the Lord.
ok. Él derriba lo que su padre había construido para el Señor.
And he erects altars for all these evil gods.
Y él levantó estos altares para todos estos dioses malvados.
This is an exact parallel from what's going on in the world today.
Así que esto es un paralelo exacto de lo que está pasando en el mundo hoy día.
And here it's leadership that's supposed to be following the Word of God.
Y aquí vemos que es un liderazgo que debería de estar siguiendo al Señor.
All right, well, that's a brief overview of
As-
chapter 18.
Así que eso es una breve pista en el capítulo 18.